If you would call to order. Yep. Call to order, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of city council minutes.
Roll call, please.
Oh, that's right. Roll call.
Kushner.
Here.
Did you hear?
I did. Osborne.
Here.
Latari.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Euler.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, item 3, approval of city council minutes.
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
Kushner.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
He said.
Councilmember Osborne, can you turn on your video for us?
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to move something on the agenda.
Okay.
If we could move item 7.2 above item 7.1.
Okay. Motion to approve agenda as amended.
Kushner.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 5, proclamation. We have a proclamation for Water and Wastewater Treatment Professionals Week, September 10 through 16, 2024.
I think so.
Any-
City staff.
Proclamation. Water and Wastewater Treatment Professionals Week proclamation, September 2024. Whereas water is one of our most valuable economic, environmental, and recreational resources. And whereas abundant water supplies attract industry and investment and create jobs. And whereas proper transport, maintenance, and treatment of water and wastewater facilities contributes to the health, safety, welfare, and economic vitality of the city of Warrensburg and its citizens. And whereas the citizens of Warrensburg rely on water and wastewater professionals to design, construct, own, operate, and maintain sustainable and resilient infrastructure. And whereas Water and Wastewater Treatment Professionals Week is a unique opportunity for these professionals and communities they serve to join together and recognize the vital role water and wastewater treatment professionals play in our daily lives. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Bruce D. Euler, Mayor of Warrensburg, along with Warrensburg City Council, do hereby proclaim September 9th through 13th, 2024 as Water and Wastewater Treatment Professionals Week. Okay, item 6, 6.1. Second reading of ordinance, item 6.1, an ordinance adopting the annual operating budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, for the city of Warrensburg, presented by Danielle Doolin, city manager.
Council, thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening, and thank you for all the hard work that has gone into the development and the creation of the fiscal year 2024-2025 annual budget. We presented that budget to you all at your meeting, your last meeting in August. We had a public comment period at that time and public hearing period at that time. We have not received any feedback from the public on that, nor have we had any feedback from city council members on that proposed budget. Therefore, it stands as presented as it was presented to you all at that last meeting in August. So we respectfully request will be your second reading. So this will pass the budget for 2024-2025.
Motion to move to second reading by title.
This is just a second.
This is second reading, just approval. Thank you. Motion to approve.
Okay. Kushner,
Yes.
Yes.
did you hear him? Thank you. Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the staff for all your work in putting this together. This is fantastic. It's so easy to follow. Everything is, it's just
Very clear.
very clear.
Yeah.
It's
And
great.
clearly thousands of hours of work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with the change on the agenda, item 7.1 is now an ordinance authorizing the city manager and city clerk to execute an agreement with Constable Sanitation, Inc. for solid waste and recycling services for residential collection services, presented by Barbara Carroll, Director of Community Development.
So we had a presentation earlier this evening at 5 o'clock. I won't go over that in its entirety. Most of it is covered in the staff report that I'll be summarizing here in a second as well. We took public comment at 5 o'clock and there were many questions asked at that time, and I will answer those after I go through the staff report. And then following my comments, if I miss anything as we go along, Danielle or George Constable are gonna jump in and fill in the blanks. And then following staff's comments, Mr. Constable is here this evening, and I've asked him to make some comments to the body as well. So the contract that you have in front of you this evening is a contract with Constable Sanitation for solid waste recycling services for residential collection services only. Little background on that, the staff began in February of 2022, issued a request for proposal. No, is that right? No, that's wrong. February of 2022, the city passed, council passed Resolution 2209, which set forth the city's intention to potentially contract for solid waste services. Since that time, that is a 2-year notice requirement required by the state of Missouri. And since that time, the city has been working with a consulting team from Burns and McDonald to develop a comprehensive solid waste management plan that was under development during 2022, 2023, and was adopted by council in August of 2023. And at that time, you all passed another resolution which directed the staff to procure solid waste collection and recycling services. And so we worked on that in February of 2026, February 26th of 2024. The city issued a formal request for proposals. 4 companies responded to that and submitted proposals in April. And staff then tonight has finished reviewing and evaluating those proposals and has come forward with a recommendation to enter into service for the residential services only. Residential services would be properties that have 4 or fewer dwelling units. And it would also include city facilities like City Hall, the wastewater treatment plants, as well as events, and then the sidewalk receptacles downtown. So the green containers that have trash on one side and recycling on the other. Staff is not recommending that we enter into a contract for the commercial services, just for the residential services. And that contract that you have in front of you would be with Constable Sanitation, Inc., a company from based out of Lee Summit, Missouri. They currently provide service to Pleasant Hill, Raymore, and several homeowners associations. Their owners, George Constable Jr. and Shannon Edgman, are here with us this evening. The service that would be provided would be a weekly trash service in a 96-gallon cart. Examples are in the back of the room. Weekly curbside recycling service, also in a 96-gallon cart. Weekly curbside yard waste of 10 bags or bundles a week. That would be on a specific day. And then monthly curbside bulky waste service, 1 item per month, also on a specified day. The full breakdown of the service is in the contract and the proposal that is attached to the contract in your packet, as well as their charge for the basic services, which will be between $24.84 a month or to $26.80 a month to the city for basic services. The city would have an additional administrative fee on top of that, bringing what we estimate the monthly rate to a customer of $31 for basic service. The agreement does include provisions for an annual cost adjustment. The cost adjustment per the contract shall neither exceed 5% in any single year, nor exceed a cumulative increase of 15% over a 4-year period. The contractor does have the ability to request an additional increase, but that would come to the city and the council for consideration. That would be that's your decision to make. Commencement date for the contract is March 1st of 2025, with trucks rolling out on March 3rd of 2025. So the question this evening is whether or not you want to enter into a contract for service for residential collection service. And if we do not do that, if the contract is not successful and approved this evening, then the services that you currently have, which is a subscription-based model, would continue. And residents would continue to be in charge of hiring their own contract for trash service, yard waste, bulky waste. What the city is currently doing in those areas would no longer happen. That would be entirely up to the citizen to secure those services and hire those businesses to do that for them directly. Based on roughly 6,000 residential service addresses, staff anticipates this contract will have an approximately 1.87 million annual impact on the city's budget. Total cost to the provide the service to the community, we believe, is closer to 2.23 million annually. If the contract is approved this evening, then staff will bring forward a detailed budget amendment at your next city council meeting that would add a solid waste fund to the fiscal 25 budget you just approved. It would be an amendment to that budget that was just approved, add the solid waste fund, and then that is where that 2.23 million would be reflected in that budget amendment. Some of the questions that were asked this evening at the 5 o'clock meeting, starting with my notes from the beginning of the meeting, one of the questions was concerning leases with tenants, and the issue of fourplexes. If there is multiple trash bills, there would still be multiple sewer bills. Those would go, or no, multiple sewer bills would have multiple trash bills. We do think that there are fourplexes and potentially duplexes that have, we have a mixed bag of both dumpsters and carts. And so for people that have dumpsters and want to continue with dumpsters, like physically there may not be an alternative to switch to something else. They would be able to, the contract states they will be able to request a waiver to stay with dumpster, and they would be let out of this and they could go back to a different hauler that's doing the commercial collection. Since we're not doing a contract for commercial collection, they could go back to in that direction and stay a dumpster. So if the billing, it may be necessary that we would have to have separate sewer bills and trash bills for some of them. And so we will have to work that out on a case-by-case basis. It is our hope, we're supposed to be starting, depending how this decision goes, starting configuration on the billing system. Since the city is doing billing, we would start that with our software company. And once we begin that work, we'll better know how we can break that out. But our hope is to be able to do a sample billing in December with a zero balance, so that we can start to identify prior to the first real billing where those address issues are going to be and who's going to need a separate bill or something like that. We're hoping to be able to start working those issues out 2 or 3 months in advance by doing a sample billing. I think the next question was.
Something I can add on that one. We are planning on working with our landlords and having a pre-meeting with them, kind of talking through them, so we can, as we're doing that test billing cycle, we can start working with our landlords on any issues that may come up as well.
I think the next question was, if the business we're contracting with were to go out of business, would the city start a new contract or go back to subscription service? Be the city's intent to go to do a new contract with a different company, not to go back to the subscription service. There was a question
Can you
on.
say that again for me, please?
There was a question on if the business we were looking to, if Constable were to go out of business, would we do a new contract for service with a different company? Or would we revert back to the subscription-based model?
And we would do what?
And the city's intent would be to go, staff's intent would be to go with a new contractor for a new contract for service.
Thank you.
And just to add on to that slightly, in terms of the company selling, not necessarily going out of business, there is a provision in the agreement that would require the city to approve any assignment of the contract. The city would not be obligated to accept a new purchaser without prior approval.
We
Oh.
can't hear what you're saying.
Somebody couldn't hear?
Assignments of the contract are not automatic. So if someone were to purchase a contracted hauler, the city has the option to approve that assignment. So it's not automatic.
There was a question on, do you have to use the container provided from the company, or can you provide your own container? You would be required to use the container provided by Constable. Their equipment will be automatic side loaders that pick the equipment up and dump directly into the cart. So it's got to have the ability to be picked up by their equipment without a human intervention. There was a question on how do we know if someone has. Oh, no, sorry. The question was when, from JNS was, when do we stop picking up so we know when to stop billing? That would be the February 28th. Because his contract would start on March 1st. There was a question of if they can opt out. And the answer on that is no. It will be you would be required to use the provider under the city contract. The city would not license any other providers for this service. There was I think I answered the dumpster question already. A question on how to get additional containers. You would sign up for those. We anticipate you could make changes to your service or pay your bills online through an online portal that would be live later this year. And so you should be able to purchase additional containers or additional options through that portal. If that's not working, certainly you can call city staff. We would have, that would be a decision probably handled at the utility billing specialist position level. But if there was something complicated along those lines, it could escalate to the coordinator position, the solid waste coordinator position. And then constable would deliver them to the address. So physically getting them, constable will deliver them to the service address. The next question, I think, was whether or not there was a discount for seniors or military. The contract does not include a discount for seniors or military. There is still a truck that has to go to that location and pick up even a small bag or a partially filled container. So there is still an expense made to service that address. Next question was, what are we going to do if you refuse to pay? If at a certain point, if you refuse to pay, then they're going to stop picking up trash and it will start piling up. And that'll become a code enforcement issue and you would be sent through the process to ultimately it would go to court, municipal court, for a municipal ordinance violation. A question if the price was a la carte or if you if it was a la carte, and it is not a la carte. All of the service is part of all 4 of those items are part of the service. It was not bid as an a la carte type of project. And so we would have to rebid in order to change to that type of a system. Oh, go ahead.
I would just add on to that, if we move to that a la carte system, we do start to lose our efficiencies and our economies of scale. And so then that, of course, would increase the cost.
I believe there was a PowerPoint for this part. It's just 2 slides.
Tracking one more
Was
question.
it, okay.
The vacant properties and how would we handle
Yes.
vacant property?
Vacant properties, that would be something that our 2 staff people would work on. If it's vacant, there shouldn't be any trash in front of it, so that's gonna be our first indicator that it's vacant. And then the solid waste coordinator would reach out to the owner of record to see if it had changed, search through the assessor's records to see if it had changed. We can look at the sewer to see if there's usage on the account. We can send them out to knock on the door and see if anybody answers. So we would make an attempt to verify if it was vacant. And certainly if someone is leaving and they no longer want to be responsible for that, they can always call us and let us know, and we'll note that on the account. So communicating with us would be equally appreciated.
Just one other question that was asked, was how would you know if the trash service is being used?
That's if it's vacant. We would know that no trash is being put out.
I didn't hear it in that way.
So the 2 proposals that we are, so 2 proposals is 1 proposal. This is the proposal that staff is recommending, the contract for residential collection services. I've stated that already. It would include all of those items for the estimated $31 a month. That is the contract you have in front of you this evening. The staff is recommending approval of that. If we do not enter into a contract, we would continue with the subscription service model that you currently have, and that is where the citizens will be entirely in charge of all 4 items, which is the solid waste removal, recycling, yard waste, and bulky waste programs. There would be ordinance updates, a little bit of ordinance updates with both of those, either choice. Do you have questions for me?
There was one question where someone asked, if they didn't use the cart, if they just set the bags out. My concern would be animals would be getting into the bag.
And that is our concern as well. Again, one of those advantages to the citywide contract that we talked about at the 5 o'clock meeting on that third or fourth slide was cleaner neighborhoods. And we start to see that when we use carts, when we set bags out and animals get into them and spread the trash around the community, then we see litter along our streets, in our drainage ways, in our storm drains. So cleaner neighborhoods is a goal. It was both a goal of the solid waste management plan and of this effort. And we see that when we use carts. So setting bags out without a cart, that would be an ordinance violation if it persisted.
May I ask that you address the hardship issue?
So there would be a hardship rate is included of $12.95 for residents who are unable to get a cart to the curb. And it would not include yard waste. So the $12.95 a month would be a hardship rate for residents. It's a house side service. So if you're unable to get the cart to the curb, then they would go to the house to retrieve the cart. That's what what the hardship rate is for.
And excuse me, would the senior citizens who do not generate much trash be able to utilize that service?
It is not intended for, that's not the intent of it, no.
Thank you.
So for hardship, could they, if, I'm going to assume that hardship would be if someone has a tag for their car, they've gotten something from their doctor that they need to park close, so therefore they probably can't pull that cart from their house down to the curb, and that would be sufficient proof to the city that they qualify for the hardship.
Yes,
And,
I think that would be sufficient. I'm not sure it would have to even go that far.
okay,
I know I had a neighbor who didn't drive, so I'm sure she didn't have a tag because I know she didn't even own a car. But was very elderly and had mobility issues and struggled to get to the curb. So I think that is something where the utility services coordinator or the solid waste services coordinator, could meet you at your house. You could, explain the situation, talk through that and make a decision. I don't know they have to have a tag.
well, as you're talking, I happen to think of, Care Connections provides home delivered meals. And the people that they're delivering meals to can't get out of their house. That might be a good resource where they could help help with the coordination of those people that can't get from their house to the city.
Yeah, or participation in the program might qualify them for the hardship.
Right.
There could be. Yeah, I think that's a conversation that staff can have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, that they would still have both trash and recycling. If they wanted to use recycling, they would have both of those, but not the yard waste and not the bulky item. Would that be correct?
Yes, yes. And it's only $12.95. It's not $12.95 on top of 31.
Right.
It's
$12.95.
$12.95.
Yeah. Gotcha. I really appreciate that question and answer.
For those people that don't have sewer service,
We will have to bill separately. We do have some of those customers.
you have pockets inside the city where people don't have sewer service, but they have trash service and they're in city limits.
Yeah, similarly, we have people who don't have water service, but have sewer service, and we bill them separate, right? We don't get a water usage. We don't get
Oh,
information
they're
from the
pumping their
water
own water.
company. But they still use, they're connected to our sewer service, so they get billed. So this would be similar to that. If you didn't have sewer, but you are getting trash service, then we'll have to bill separate, create a separate account for that.
I had one individual contact me. Most of what he has are the larger apartments. So he mostly has dumpsters and, he was concerned about the city not contracting for commercial services in addition to the residential, with the thought that possibly that would lessen the amount of trash going to the landfill, and the landfill would then have to close. That they wouldn't have enough business to stay open.
Trash this kind is going to this landfill that Republic operates.
It is going to that
It
landfill.
says in the contract, our trash goes to this landfill. Our yard waste will go to a site in Lee Summit. And our recyclables will go to the MRF in Harrisonville. So they had to specify what facilities they were taking our materials to in their proposal. So the landfill is still getting the bulk of the material out of Warrensburg.
Okay,
Yeah.
MERP, just for the record, stands for Material Recovery Facility.
okay.
That's where recyclables go.
And what do they do with the yard waste? Do they make it into mulch?
Compost, yeah.
Compost, okay. And you can purchase it?
I don't personally purchase.
No,
it, but,
yeah.
There's a lot of, like, vineyards are one of the big buyers of it, specialty farms that need, nutrient rich soil. Cause there's a lot of microorganisms that decompose in it. They say it's really good for a garden, but.
Okay,
Landfills also purchase it for alternative daily cover. So landfills do use it, for that.
and the yard waste is leaves, grass clippings, little tiny twigs. Little tiny twigs. Anything else would have to be bundled,
Yeah.
like in a 3-foot or 4-foot kind of.
Generally speaking, when we try to describe that to people, something you can wrap your arms around,
Okay,
so. If there are no additional questions from council at this time, I think we'd like to have Mr. Constable talk to you all a little bit about his company and his approach to this compound.
Excuse me, but they don't say if there's a bag in it.
I'm sorry.
There is no, there's no limit on the number of bags or limit or special sticker system. But all the bags do need to fit in the cart. If you had extra bags on a regular basis, then you would need to purchase an additional cart.
Your contract will take that. The contract states you gotta get your bag outside of trash. Mr. Constable, are you ready to?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
2 bags, some of the bag limits are really, well, thank you for having me, and I'll try to touch on some of the questions too earlier. And really, some of the bag limits are more of a formality for policing, you don't necessarily want to say you can fit everything in your can every week. Sometimes there's children's birthday parties, there's something going on in the neighborhood, someone had a barbecue, they have an extra bag or two. That's something, a life event that we understand. Trash kind of does a weird life circle. Same with bulk. Bulk items, one of those items that, starts with a toddler bed from a crib. Then you get to the toddler bed, then you toss it, then you get to the full size, and it's just, as life happens, trash is accumulated, of course. I definitely, whenever we looked at this contract, I looked at a lot of the solid waste management plans and some of the town hall meetings that were in Warrensburg prior. I tried to become as knowledgeable as possible on some of the service events that took place here. I know there were some things, and I tried to guess what would best satisfy Warrensburg. And with that, we wanted to bring everything curbside. That means yard waste, have a curbside recycling program, and have the bulk item as well. I know with that, it's somewhat environmentally friendly as well. In the business, they say, bring a don't bring 1,000 people to one location, bring one truck to 1,000. So ideally, you leave a lower footprint by doing that. As far as the operations out here, we are from Lee Summit. We're 45 minutes away. I've traveled to Warrensburg plenty of times. My sister actually went to college here, so I've been inside the town for years and years. We would set up an operation that we consider Constable East. We've already spoke with the Economic Development Council to look at purchasing the yard, renting the yard, and being really, I try to bring part of the local aspect to an outside hauler that has additional resources. We're trying to fit the niche of being a local hauler, but also have 20 trucks 45 minutes away in case of need. And service issues, were an issue whenever I looked at this. And, we tried to build in as many safeguards as possible with trucks and equipment. And, really back to the local thing too, it matters to me. My stepdad was union, so I got it pounded into me, but, we hire here, our supervisor is coming from Johnson County. He lives in Johnson County. Our mechanic already comes from Johnson County. So there are some in-town connections, and we'll try to hire local as possible. But it matters to me, even inside of our bid itself. We have spec'd a supervisor trucks that handles the carts and just some of the maintenance, some missed pickups, some things of that nature around town. And that truck is supposed to be purchased here in town, and that matters. As far as to the carts in the back, I know one person asked earlier, hey, do you have to use that car? We prefer it. I buy equipment that particularly matches up to fit that perfect cart. Not even, a lot of times the same equipment doesn't even match up to the same cart. It's a weird trash thing that unfortunately you have to figure out the hard way. And what I don't want to do is to have someone go buy the can and have my equipment destroy it. And ultimately that could happen, and that's not the message we're here to send. And as far as the coloring goes, it's red for trash, blue for recycling. You would be surprised if you ever been in a trash truck, how the road and the eyesight looks different from that seat in a larger truck going down residential. So the color actually helps with the visuals for drivers and things. So it kind of stands out from behind cars, behind mailboxes, things of that nature, so we can limit any type of miscollections. Sorry, I'm just reading through my notes here. We covered a lot of the local. I know too, someone, of course, brought up online reviews. And, that's a subject a lot of people have touched before, even inside my own company. Because I don't know if you're aware, there's social media scrubbers or people you can buy online to keep an online presence. But that is something I personally would never do, just because I believe, if you have something to say, you should be allowed to say it. So I'm I've never scrubbed it. And, I would say for the 20 bad reviews we have on Yelp, in the area that we haul around 35,000 customers. So I would feel like that's a decent ratio, and ultimately we do care. I'll touch on the hardships as well, which we can leave it open to have yard waste in it. But typically when you find out if people have a physical setback, then they're unable to generate yard waste. That's typically not the same people that are outside working in their yard, which we find sometimes in the senior community, a lot of times, and this is where the yard waste is beneficial. They might have one bag of trash, but they have the additional time to work in the yard and leaves pile and everything else. So you kind of swap what you're getting as far as what you consider waste streams. The cart size came into the question, and I can wheel it up here if you would like to get a better visual of it, but
It looks normal to me.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, the cart size
It's
does
like
come
a
into question because it's 96 gallon.
Mhm.
Now, I have 65 gallon carts from time to time, but the factor is,
Can you use the microphone and
Oh.
talk to it?
sorry,
Here, we're straining to hear what you're saying, and I'm sure we've all missed.
is,
But if
does this help?
If it's not even on.
You can turn it on.
It's on.
It's on? Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'll try to go side to side. A lot of times in my experience.
Hold it closer.
Hold it.
Yeah,
Closer?
close,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so a lot of times we use the 96 gallon cans. And if you look at the edges, 65 gallon is one side smaller and you get about 2 to 3 inches. So when you're fighting for garage space or space beside your house. Personally, I like to haul with the 96 because of the equipment that squeezes the can. It creates bottlenecking if the can's too skinny. And that becomes an issue. And whenever we write a program, we try to eliminate some of these areas that can cause issues. So if we eliminate the bottlenecking by going 96, it's preferred from a hauling size. I have heard it's large, but from a footprint standpoint in a garage, it's 3 inches by 3 inches. Yeah, sorry by the side of your house.
We can all have George.
Sorry.
Please direct your comments to
Oh,
the city council.
sorry.
You're okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
George, would you mind, talking to council a little bit about, the process you've been going through with putting your routes together, the number of days to pick up and kind of where you're at in that process as well?
And of course, getting into the routes, you have to get into the number of equipment and the number of trucks. So when we proposed the program here for Warrensburg, we proposed 5 trucks. 3 would be automated side loads. 1 collection vehicle is for the yard waste and 1 collection vehicle to assist in areas of what I would consider struggle for a garbage company to get in and out of. If you're trying to build a infrastructure that backhauls recycling 50 miles, then you're going to need a large piece of equipment to do that. But it's not going to be able to service every recycling, for instance, an alleyway. So when I got out to Warrensburg and I started scouting for the routes, that was a huge question that came up on our service days is, hey, is there a possible way to service the alleys, but not have them impacted the equipment that's needed to purchase? So we worked around that solution and came up and submitted that to the city staff. As well as that, we tried to structure the routes in order of what I feel like happens on a day-to-day basis in the trash industry. A lot of times in the trash industry, it's sometimes difficult to find help. Sometimes you run into other reasons, but if you build a program, that has your shorter day on Monday, shorter day on Friday, where that bulk is that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you build around what hindrances you may have, it can be successful. Better call it track. But with that, I went into each area. I know Monday is the area that's north of 50 highway. That was instantly marked as what I would consider your grass bagging area. There's a lot of sunlight, greener grass, possible sprinkler systems inside that area. That's where you're going to see a majority of your grass bags. And with, just doing a couple things that's smart routing by picking those up Monday, because most people bag that grass over the weekend, you won't have as many broken bags or possible cleanups come Thursday, Friday. So you put that up front on a route. It's also a better idea to stagger your days to make sure your equipment's always empty. So we did make Tuesday and Thursday the largest route days that we proposed. And one of those areas is east of McGuire and the other areas west of McGuire around the UCM campus. So whenever we proposed that, it kind of split up our yard waste as well. Leaves falling is a, concern for capacities typically in the trash business. So if you can split the days and split what you're gonna see, that's always assist. And we did make Friday our shortest day. One, I hate to say it, that's the day most of the help's gonna call in, vacations over the summer, they have families and everything too. So we made that the shortest day, and it also helps lesser the impact whenever there is a holiday. And when there's a holiday, trash days get pushed a day, and it would go into Saturday, and we would prefer that the less residents impacted by that as possible. So we really shortened up that day to make it feasible. That's also the day we made alley pickups to try to do it all in one day. So there'll be alleys routed, if there's alley pickup, your trash will be routed and your recycling will be picked up that day as well. As far as speccing the equipment, again, I knew the challenges trash wise of Warrensburg, and part of that was the infrastructure of the recycling and the impact of getting the yard waste back to Lee Summit and making sure, that could be presented at the best value as possible.
Could you explain a little bit about the recycling? Because that seems to be almost one of the major demands we've had the last 2.5 years since this process started. About this is a single stream recycling.
It's
It's
single
separate.
stream, you put it all in the bin, so your plastics. 1 through 7, no styrofoam. That makes it simple. Most of your plastics are gonna be 1 and 2. Cardboard, paperboard, aluminum cans, tin cans. And the hierarchy of recycling, aluminum cans and tin cans are at the top. So as a consumer, if you decide to buy that way, instead of buying plastic, it is a better recyclable material. Same with going to the 2-cart system, your recycling numbers will jump up dramatically. That version in the city has the ability, one, our trucks, they'll be tied into a GPS system where they can monitor our trucks at any time in the city. Second, there's reports and turn-ins for that recyclable material to be brought to Harrisonville. And now the Harrisonville MRF was purchased by GFL 8 years ago, and they've spent millions of dollars improving the technology there and come out with a really clean one. I like that. I just do residential trash. I don't know if that was explained either. We don't do a ton of commercial, we do some. I try to only be good at one thing. I know from a hauler standpoint, we won't be doing any rural, we won't be doing additional commercial. I care about, what I pledged to do. But as far as the recycling, back to that, paperboard, cardboard, plastics, aluminum cans, tin cans, put it all in the same barrel. And it is collected all at the same
No
time.
glass, right?
No glass, yeah.
And what you put in the barrel has to be rinsed and cleaned.
Yeah, they have, they don't want pizza boxes that are touched with, any
Grease.
type of food contaminants. That has changed a little bit over the years where they become more particular about how everything's absorbed. We listed everything on a website.
Okay.
And Warrensburg will have its specific website where you can type in your service days to find. You can type in your address and it'll pull up the map with your particular service days. They'll have all the recycling information. They'll have areas to request cards, request additional services and things of that nature.
These are two different systems. I grew up here and then lived away for a long time. And I've seen where recycling was, you recycle, you put it in this bin and that's over there. And then later on, they mix them right back, at the landfill or something. But these are two separate pickups and.
These are two separate
Yeah.
trucks that, again, have oversight, not just by myself, by the city itself, and I care. I mean, if most people spend the time, it does take time to recycle. It's, we try to make it as convenient as possible. And if you're taking the time to do that, does need to go to the right place.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in the community I know who recycle and they have choices where they go to Higginsville or Harrisonville or Lee Summit to recycle. I mean, this is one of the real benefits that I see from
And
this.
bringing it curbside, I
Yeah.
know a lot of those places that, you know, have drop-off facilities. Half of them are shut down over the years. Again, goes back to the holler mentality of send 1 to 1,000 instead of 1,000 to 1, so. It's just more efficient way, you know, if you believe in recycling, then you also typically care about your footprint as well. So trying to get efficiencies, you know, inside of a town and to do it correctly it definitely takes a process.
Yeah, and maybe discuss the bulky items, because we've had this, and it costs the city about $80,000, I think, to do the bulk item pickup.
Yeah,
And where does that go? And that's once a month, you said, and.
yeah, that's once a month and that'll be the 3rd week of collection.
Okay.
So you'll have the calendar up on the website for the residents to pull and look at, as far as the bulk items that we collect. We mainly see a lot of flat screen televisions, mattresses, small couches, things of those life happenings that, you know, eventually, you know, your sofa's not gonna make it anymore, so.
We're a college town, so we see at the end of the
Yeah.
semester, we'll see it out on the street, the mattress, sofa,
Yeah,
old chair or something, but.
and this is a service that, you know, we offer through some other municipalities and a lot of HOAs.
Mhm.
It's very popular. I personally think it should still stay. It would be hard for someone in a Prius to show up at the landfill and get rid of their mattress. You know, it needs to be a
Right.
service that's provided by the haulers, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it was popular here, but.
Yeah.
There can be delays. It could sit for 2 weeks because we just of staffing to get out there and pick up those bulky items, so that's.
yeah, it's labor intensive.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that will also go to this Republic landfill?
Yes, I'll go.
So you said flat screen TVs. I thought that would be, what is the county?
E-waste.
Yeah, hazardous material. I thought that would be more of a hazardous material that would go, the county does hazardous material, so
It can go in there. It's not listed as hazardous as into a class 2 landfill yet.
okay.
You know, that's in Missouri.
So they could put that on outside as their one bulky
Yeah, it's
item
allowed.
and you would take it off.
Yes.
But you don't take tires.
No tires.
Nobody takes tires.
Nobody, unfortunately, nobody takes tires.
Do you guys have any additional questions for Mr. Constable?
Yes,
Jim,
I
Eddie?
do.
And I'll explain, Eddie's been sick for a week and he's getting better. Jim had surgery. So,
There's a lot of weather changes going on. I think.
well, we're just glad we could do this. So do you guys have any questions?
Sorry, Bruce. No, I'm good.
I do, if I may. I have a question. My question is on the bulky items, does it have to be an individual? I'd be several different things. We're talking.
Needs to be able to be lifted by 2 individuals. That question is somewhat subjective because I've seen everything. I've seen hot tubs set out for bulky item. And, you know, that's not an item that I would consider. But I do, if it's boxed and neat, that always helps. You know, if it's, you know, look like it's scattered amongst the curb, that's a difficult bulk item collection to not be enforced as, you know, several.
Well,
Say 1 item too, a mattress and box spring always counts as 1. They're kind of, they're a set. So that's covered as well.
if you could do some edification of that on your website, please.
Okay.
And that's my only question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have, I guess I want to know your level of confidence that if this contract is awarded to you, are you going to be here hands-on to make sure that it goes just as smooth as possible? Because we don't want another debacle like we had when the one company left and the other company came in and we had garbage and trash piled up high. So what is your confidence and commitment to this contract to make sure that if we approve it tonight, that you're gonna be here 24/7 if you have to until this gets to running just like it should?
And what you see is who you work with. And I will be here. I'm obsessed about trash. For whatever reason. I don't know why it's sad, but it's, you know, it's my life's work. So I do care. And a little bit, there's no other projects. We don't go, and I'm very particular about what we like to look at from a company standpoint. If another city came, I'm busy with the agreement that I already have. You know, there's no, here you go and do this, George, you know, it's focused, setting up the program to succeed. And I've already started some routing. And as far as I know that was a question earlier about a hauler selling. And I'm very honest, my personal timeline is 11 years before I look at it. So, you know, it's a long time of hauling good trash, in my personal opinion. So this contract would not be a concern about my retirement or anything of that nature. I'm still 39. I still got plenty of fire in me to do it. So I enjoy what I do, and I want to see the same result that the staff and everyone here wants to see. And until it's achieved,
Thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions? Susie?
Nope, all mine were answered. Thank you.
Somebody's taking advantage of recycling, is it picked up on the same day as?
Well, the comments should come to me, you know, but that's all right, thanks.
Mayor Euler, if you kind of want to let folks know that the public comment period is already over.
Yep, so the public comments, of course, were at 5 o'clock today. We had a nice turnout for that. We appreciate everybody that came to that meeting, and the presentation was made for that. So.
Mayor, excuse me. We didn't know about it.
A lot of people didn't know
And
about.
the route was the close side.
This process has been going on, we know it's been going on for 2.5 years. We've had surveys, we had over 1,000 people responded to the surveys. We've had open meetings, we've had open comment periods. We had one today that isn't even required, but we did that just again to get the final questions that people had out about the situation.
It's been on social media and KOKO, I think.
Yeah.
So I think the city has tried through multiple different outlets to make it public.
Yeah.
We can see back here. I don't know what's wrong with the speaker or what.
The city has, can you hear me better now?
No, we can't.
Can you hear Bruce? Can you
Can I just say one thing? It's just one thing, and I won't say anything other than. Please understand that I'm gonna represent, I'm representing a lot of older people than I am, that don't have even a cell phone. And I overheard them talk about how they were gonna inform people and bill them and the water. Please, don't stop using it for those things.
I mean.
Because they don't have the capability to do.
Okay, thank you, but
Thank you.
We're not open for comments right now, though, but I thank you. I mean, I appreciate that.
We're gonna have another time that there will be.
We had it at 5 o'clock today and we had a good
No one knew about it. I would say how many people.
This says 7 o'clock.
did not know?
7 o'clock is our regular council meeting.
We're not going to be here for, not gonna be here for, are you, with mayor, with council? Okay, we've had our meeting. And this, we're gonna move on with the rest of the meeting.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We will be asked to leave
Yep.
if we argue.
Mayor, if I can, my suggestion, I think for this evening. It is always council's prerogative. If council is feeling like they do not want to move to a second reading. We can do a second reading at our next meeting. That is always council's prerogative. If you all are interested in just doing a first reading tonight, we can take written comment or phone calls, and then report that back to council. And then you all can take action at a second reading on the 23rd. That is not staff's recommendation. Staff's recommendation is to do a first and second reading this evening,
Right.
but that is always council's prerogative.
Thank you. So have we already done, where are we at? First reading. So we're at the first, we've done the first reading. We've done our, so do we need to discuss anything amongst ourselves? Do we have any
If you
additional?
have any further comments, otherwise, no.
I don't.
I don't have any other questions.
Eddie, Jim,
No.
No,
Motion to move to second reading by title only.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
yes.
Thank you. An ordinance authorizing the city manager and city clerk to execute an agreement with Constable Sanitation, Inc. for solid waste and recycling services for residential collection services. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next item would be 7.2, which was originally 7.1.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, city council, city of Warrensburg go straight to hell. And if I'll be dictated what trash service I have to use.
7.2
Mhm.
reads, an ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute and contract with Bowen Engineering Corporation for the East and West Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvement Project. Presented by Jason McCarty, Project Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Before you tonight is myself and Cole Duckworth with HDR. This is a continuation of a process that we started. We go out for an alternative delivery method for the SBR, the small batch reactor, or sequencing batch reactor out at both plants to increase capacity.
Right.
We are at the stage of bringing on board the construction manager at risk. We, with HDR's help, put that out, and we had 4 companies that submitted proposals. We did a comprehensive review of that and then narrowed it down to 2, which we did formal interviews with. And between Bowen and Garney, they were really close, and Bowen was just a little bit ahead. So negotiating with them on the agreement for that, and this is just the pre-construction services portion of this. As we move into the construction phase, we will be coming back to council with an addendum for a contract with Bowen for the construction services. So this is just for the pre-construction tonight and negotiating through the state procedures and with legal counsel. We're here before you tonight to ask you to approve the contract as it was presented to you guys in our package. If you have any questions for me, or for Cole, we will take them from you.
I like that you're using the same, CMR system for contracting services. I think that's good. I like that you're using it for the
It
sewer
was
treatment.
kind of nice that they broke the ice with the McGuire project.
Right.
Mhm.
Piggybacked on some of that,
Yeah.
so it's working fairly well as far as I can tell so far. So we're
That's
looking
good.
forward to
I
bringing
like that.
Bowen on board if you guys approve that.
Or are you ready for?
I do just have a question. Trying to, still learning when to ask what. Please remind me, because a lot of water has gone under my bridge since the last time we talked about this. Is this related to extending the life of the treatment system, since we had to shift funds away from that to help with the McGuire repair that had to happen?
Do you want me to take that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is actually the expansion of both plants.
Okay.
So back in August of 23, we passed sewer revenue bonds for a $23 million plant expansion. So that's an additional, tank, for SBR sequential batch reactor, at each plant. And so raising our capacity. So, we're getting close to capacity at both plants. And so this is necessary for us to be able to continue adding new customers on. Warrensburg is unique in that we have 2 plants, but we're on a hill. So, try to use gravity to our advantage, in that situation. And so, we are growing fast enough on both sides of town, that we need to do this.
Yeah, great.
To-
Thank you.
To
for the reminder.
piggyback on that and to further answer, so with that approval to go after that funding source, we have submitted an application with DNR for the state revolving fund to get a loan for that $22 million project.
Gotcha.
And we should be getting notification. We're on the short list for that. We should be getting notification about the end of October, November, that loan has been approved, and we'll go through that process to finalize that. And that will kick the ball rolling for construction to begin spring of 25.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jason. I
You're
appreciate
welcome. Any other further questions for myself or Cole?
Any questions, Eddie, Jim?
No.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jason.
Are we ready for the motion?
Yes.
Motion to move to second reading by title only.
Kushner. Kushner. Saying yes.
that. You got to
Sorry. Yeah, I know. Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a contract with Bowen Engineering Corporation for the East and West Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvements Project. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.3, an ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a contract agreement with SAK Construction LLC for the 2024 sanitary sewer main lining project presented by Jason McCarty.
Again, thank you for allowing me to be before you this evening. So since 2017, as part of our improving our sanitary sewer system, we've been doing a lining project. Taking certain mains identified under Terry, help me out with where they did the study on.
Inflow and infiltration.
So we've been working on that. This is a continuation of that. We had 3 bidders that submitted bids. SAK has worked with us before and they've done a really good job with that. They came in slightly under our estimated budget amount, which is a good thing. So we're asking for approval to move forward to execute this contract with them. Any questions regarding this topic?
No.
No.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you, Jason.
Motion to move to second reading by title only.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a contract agreement with SAK Construction LLC for the 2024 sanitary sewer main lining project. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.4, an ordinance authorizing the down payment of $45,000 toward the purchase of 800 HPR Eco Series 4 truck mounted high pressure sewer cleaner, a jet truck from Armory Equipment. Terry Hawks, Water Pollution Control Manager.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. In 2012, the city of Warrensburg purchased an international sewer truck, jet truck for the water pollution control collection plant. Over the years, this truck has been highly effective in removing of roots and the sewer blockage. However, in recent years, it has begun experiencing mechanical issues, largely due to the extensive hours of operation. The cost of a purchase of a new jet truck is just a little over $300,000. The staff is recommending putting forth a down payment of $45,000 towards the purchase of a new jet truck through a cooperative purchase agreement from Armor Equipment. This $45,000 was left over from an approved 23-24 vehicle replacement budget. Then the remainder of the balance to be paid in the 2025 approved budget period. With the approval of council, we would like to utilize the down payment to begin the project that takes 8 months for a build process. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council, for your time. Does anyone have any questions on this?
So if you do the down payment, then you should be able to have the vehicle in 8 months?
Yes, it's a build process within 8 months.
8 months, okay.
Yes.
And then the old jet truck can be used for maybe,
That one we will actually trade in.
oh, you'll trade it in. Okay, so it's not worth keeping for anything.
No.
Okay, all right. Motion moved to second reading by title only. Oh, I'm sorry, you might have had a question.
No, I'm good. Nope.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the down payment of $45,000 toward the purchase of an 800 HPR ECO Series 4 truck mounted high pressure sewer cleaner jet truck from Armor Equipment. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.5, an ordinance establishing traffic control in Allen Acres subdivision in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri. Jason, you're a busy man tonight. So
Yes, all right. I've been a busy man for a while.
Okay.
This is just the result of all.
So a couple of months ago, y'all are aware that we brought Allen Acres subdivision phase 3 to you for acceptance for street maintenance and traffic control. We got that all installed, traffic control for phase 3, and came to realize that between phase 1 of Allen Acres and phase 3, there was a stub of Roger that had been built in phase 1. And stop sign got missed there. So this ordinance is to put that stop sign at Roger where it intersects with Best, so that we don't have any traffic issues there coming out of that new subdivision into the old one before it dumps onto Montserrat Park Road. So staff's recommendation is you all approve that so we can get that stop sign put in. Any questions?
Appreciate it. That's my neck of the woods, so appreciate that.
No question for me.
Okay.
Yes, we will.
I'll move to read a second. Reading by title.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing traffic control in Allen Acre subdivision in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
yes,
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.6, an ordinance establishing traffic control in Juniper Ridge, fourth plat subdivision in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, presented by none other than Jason McCarthy.
This is my last adventure for tonight.
I think so.
Okay. So Juniper Ridge is a new subdivision that was built off of Spring Ridge Road north of Iron Horse out there. It's been brought to you guys for acceptance for street and sanitary maintenance. That was back at the end of August, I believe it was.
Yeah, last month, I think.
So in order to get the traffic control, no parking on one side, the stop sign at the Spring Ridge intersection and the posted speed limit, we had to take that traffic commission, which that happened at the end of August, unfortunately, after the previous council meeting. So traffic commission recommended bringing that forward to y'all for approval. With your approval, we will get the signage put up and have that completed over there. Any questions for me on this one? Pretty straightforward.
no,
no,
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Motion to move to second reading by title.
Kushner,
yes,
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing traffic control in Juniper Ridge, fourth plat subdivision in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
yes,
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 8.1, a resolution approving managed hunt program for the 2024 deer season, presented by Chris Deal, Parks and Recreation Director.
thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. As stated in the memo that you have, there is a resolution authorizing a managed deer hunt within the city of Warrensburg and other park and area city facilities. In meeting with Missouri Conservation, they gave praise for the first and second annual hunts. And this event has Manager Doolin's success from the beginning. And this will be our third year program, and the park board and staff were happy to recommend the third annual event. At the recommendation of the Conservation Department, the hunt is starting November 1st and going through January 15th. We will not be closing the park areas during the hunt, as this is considered to be the norm as stated by Missouri Conservation. There will be signs posted about the managed deer hunt, mostly at the trailhead entrances of different areas of the park. And there is a mandatory orientation that all hunters must attend, which covers the safety and important details of this program. As also stated, there will be 33 hunters selected by random drawing for designated hunting areas, which is listed on the chart and in the memo that you have on the attached map areas. The program falls under the strategic plan of community pride and interaction. It also helps with the overpopulation of deer as recommendation statewide program by Missouri Conservation. All hunters must have a current statewide archer's deer hunting permit and provided proof of hunter's education certificate. And there are many rules that are listed under the city of Warrensburg managed deer hunt paper that you have in your packet, which all hunters will receive. And as previously stated, all of these will be covered in the mandatory orientation. So in conclusion, if it is staff's recommendation that the mayor and council pass the resolution, and I will answer any questions that you may have.
How many deer did they get last year? Was it like 24?
I'm not, there was 13.
13?
You might have heard 24, Pearls, University also does their own.
Yes.
Hunts, so
And between the two.
there might have been 4.
Okay.
And just because it's here in the description, but just for anybody listening who may not be reading, this is bow hunting, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And the bow hunting only?
Well, I'm telling you.
It's bow and crossbow,
Bow and
but it's,
crossbow,
but it's bow.
but it's
Bow
bow,
and
it's not.
Yeah, it's not a gun. No gun.
Correct. No gun.
Any comments, questions?
I'm good.
No,
Nope, just that one.
You too.
I make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the managed hunt for the 2024 deer season.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 8.2, a resolution authorizing the disposal of a city-owned vehicle presented by Kenneth D. Jennings, Fire Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Yep.
The resolution before you tonight is to dispose of one 2009 Ford Escape that was previously used by the fire department. Little history, we replaced the 3 remaining 2015 vehicles this year. Of those 3, 1 definitely needs to go away. The other 2, we have performed a little bit of maintenance while were no longer suited for emergency response and just kind of the model of deployment. We have found some ways to get some extra life out of it. Parks Department has claimed 1 to help satisfy the needs of some of their expanding programs. And then the fire department and WCBB is going to share the use of the other one to get to meetings, training events, things like that. But Marcy has quite a bit of things that her and her staff do through town that vehicle is going to be amazing for. So that leaves the one that we definitely need to get rid of. And that's 49. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So the ones that, the 2 that are being kept are reliable enough to be actually used that Marcy gets in and she'll actually get to her destination?
I have assured her that
She will.
90% of the time they work.
90% of the time.
Yeah, we've put a little, the one Parks is getting that, we came to that conclusion, I believe, last week. They'll have a little bit of work to get it solid, but the other one took a little bit of money to get it going, but yeah, still reliable. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Motion to approve the resolution authorizing the disposal of the city-owned vehicle.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8.3, a resolution authorizing the disposal of city-owned equipment presented by Dave McCannon, Field Operations Manager.
Good evening, Council, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm asking for approval of about 3 items for disposal. First item is a 2012 International dump truck that nothing but problems since day one with it. It was replaced with when we finally get the truck, I think in July, I believe, when we finally got the truck to replace it. It was a 2-year process, so. Second item is our 2005 aerial bucket truck that was replaced here, just got about a month ago, or new replacement. So. And our third item is a set of 4 tires that go on a skid steer machine, skid steer bobcat machine that actually the plants took over. But the tread on it was really good and they didn't need the tires and they're on dirt all the time. So they're not going to go through them. So we had these in stock and they won't fit our new machines. So. Questions?
Thanks, Dave.
Nope. Motion to approve the resolution to dispose of these city-owned pieces of equipment.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
yes,
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 9, appearances to the council not listed on the agenda. Jim Wakeman,
Not here.
not here.
They made it one of the ones that came in late.
Robert Lawrence. Thanks, Robert.
Good evening. I came here tonight with an agenda that I was going to be upset because I'm against a monopoly. Living under Spectrum for so long, I was ecstatic to get under that thumb. And so I was not looking forward to your presentation. However, I want to commend you guys for the hard work that you have done. I've changed my mind. You have done what we have been looking for. And thank you. We want recycling. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
All credit to the staff. All credit to the staff. Thank you, Robert.
As Susie said, there's so much credit goes to the staff here in the city who's worked on this for, it started 3 years ago and now 2.5 years to work on this agreement. So anyway, appreciate all around everybody's put so much work into it. And again, thank you very much for that.
Thank you for your
Yes.
positive comments.
Yeah,
We
it's
appreciate
it's
that.
nice to hear that. Thank you.
Item 10, miscellaneous matters from the mayor and or city council.
Nothing from me.
Nothing there, Jim? Eddie?
No, I'm good.
Nothing.
They're good. All right. Item 11.1, city staff update, community development.
There's a copy of our activity report in the packet. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No question here.
Thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Barb.
No questions? Okay.
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you, Barb. Item 11.2, city staff updates, fire department, August activity report, chief.
The August reports in your pack, things to point, August, call volume just ahead 50% over the same period of last year. Response time looked good last month, and overall, we're still working on that, maintaining that average across the board. This evening, I also wanted to, with the budget, we could get approved tonight, and there was the addition of the 2 full-time firefighters. I wanted to kind of run through this last fire. It was at 9:04 Deer Run on August 6th. The call was dispatched at 2:09 in the morning. We had crews on scene and water on the fire initially in just under 6.5 minutes. 37 minutes later is when the next crew arrived to assist in that. So the evening was, there was a cold front coming. It wasn't quite here. It was pretty sticky. But those 4 firefighters, essentially, there was the incident commander, 2 running the trucks, and then 4 working. Did an outstanding job as a 2-story, 4-plex townhouse, or 4 townhouse units. They worked pretty hard. 37 minutes to get additional staff there. Ultimately, we ended up with 14 of our own. We mutuated in Concordia to help. They brought an additional 5. So just kind of that additional staff is a step in the right direction, getting those resources that we need in that timely fashion. After the fire, this is a view from above where we're still mopping up hot spots. And this is a view from up front. So this was one of our larger fires the crews had experienced in a while, as far as they weren't able to contain it really quickly. So they kind of beat themselves up over it. But this results, and a lot of this is who owns the building and their prerogative to get things going again, but this was last week in that building. So as I highlighted to the crews, they did an amazing job. Those 4 folks working for 37 minutes on their
It's a
own
long
did
time.
enough to be able to have a roof on it already, and I'm sure they'll have tenants back in it pretty quick. So this is a result of a lot of different things that support funding and the training, as we've discussed a lot, the turnover of staff we had the last several years, that investment in making a lot of that experience up has paid off. The dedication and work that they put into it, it's big. You know, sometimes we get the question of, you know, why are firefighters working out? Well, I'm glad they did. I showed up there, they had kind of the 8th person. I don't know how much help I am anymore. But I was there and they worked a little bit harder than I did. We also did have 2 injuries. We had a partial ceiling collapse that hit one of our guys and took him out briefly. And then we had a heat exhaustion later to about 45 minutes. So
Took them out, like knocked them out.
yeah, just hit the head a little bit. So yeah. That's why we were homeless. So, you know, all those pieces together, that results. Another thing that it highlights is the importance of our building and fire code. This building was built before the requirement existed to have that fire stoppers, that fire wall between units. So this is, for some reason, a common occurrence anymore. Fires that start on the backside of the building, go up, get in the soffit, get in the attic. In 2022, up on Pebble Creek, we had a similar fire, but that was new enough. It had the firewall between units. So the bulk of the damage, they had some smoke damage on that other unit, but it shows how important that code is. This getting built back is going to have that firewall to provide that time and that life safety, not only for the occupants, but the firefighters going. So the work that community development does, the building inspector, and all that is tied back to keeping our folks safe. So just wanted to kind of run through that, what we're working towards, a lot of those conversations we've had over the past several years, and just this was a good example of the why, where we're getting. It was a great result, but we still have a lot of work to do in the future.
When you talk about a firewall, the firewall goes all the way up into the attic.
Yes.
The requirement now is that has to go all the way through the attic to the roof deck.
So it's not just between
Not just between the lived portions.
It's all the way up to the
All way-
roof.
It goes all the way up and then out 2 feet, I think, on each side of the wall.
Yeah.
1 foot or 2 foot.
It does a pretty good job by covering that whole area, limiting that fire spread. Obviously, you know, it's a 2-hour rated wall.
What materials in that wall, the firewall?
They'll use gypsum board like you know,
Sheetrock?
sheetrock, but just a rated. So a lot of times it gets doubled up to get that 2-hour rating.
Interesting.
It's definitely a good outcome. I mean,
Tell the crews, great job.
Yeah.
Appreciate your hard work.
Yeah.
Appreciate your all support.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 11.3, city staff updates, finance director.
How are you guys?
Yes.
I just wanted to kind of give you an update. It has been a busy month. We have added on several employees that you have met as I start to exit. The next meeting will be my last one. You know, Kristen, of course, who is our administrative services department head and our assistant city manager. You met Carolyn last time, August 26th, as she has started. So Rachel and I have now split our time. Rachel's training on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I come in Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays so that we can take advantage of what time is left. So I just wanted to kind of repeat that. Also to let you know that at your next council meeting, we will do our year-end report. It's not the year-end, but we will do the budget amendment, the last one for the year-end encumbrances. And hopefully we will have a master fee schedule for you also to try to move towards, instead of having all of the different fees that people might have to pay in all these different ordinances and resolutions all over the place. It's been quite interesting to try to find them, but to have them all in a master schedule that you would adopt once a year, which would also, in a sense, force you to review them once a year and see if they're right or working the way that you were expecting them to. So those are the things that we're expecting to bring you in 2 weeks. So I just wanted to kind of share with you and tell you that we are staffed up and all due to our wonderful city manager, and we're all, you know, working our way through. Rachel's last day is this Thursday and she'll be gone. And then, just so you know.
And when's your last day?
The 23rd, after this
23rd.
council meeting, I will leave. So.
We appreciate all you've done for the
Yeah,
city.
we appreciate
So
everything
much
you've done
to get
for
A
us.
great new staff and they're very enthusiastic and they're learning. I mean, Carolyn has already taken over journal entries and all kinds of things. So she's really learning really fast. So it'll be really good.
Thank you
And then
so
of course, we've had Jessica here for a month and a half, which you would not have gotten 2 different budget books. And next week you'll get your 3rd and final one to incorporate the new solid waste. And Jessica will be doing all of that work for you.
Great work.
Really fantastic work.
Thank you.
Right. City staff updates, Parks and Recreation.
Yes,
Chris.
thank you. Good evening again. Well, I'm very pleased to report that the indoor pool is open. And we opened at the stated time that we said we would last Wednesday. And so full classes started this evening, or excuse me, this morning, and we have both the high school swim team and also our prominent swim team, and all of our activities going on. I was very pleased with the company that we worked with because they finished a little bit ahead of schedule, which was good. One good reason was the heater did not work on the leisure pool. As you recall, you may recall, some of you, that when I first got here, I requested that we purchase backup heaters. Yay, we had one, and so we were able to put that in, and now we'll order another backup heater, but sitting for a while, and it was 8 years old. Just the igniter did not go, so we're very pleased that worked out well. So that's gonna be one of our purchases here, to have another backup. I also wanted to have a very special thank you to Attorney Doug Harris and City Manager Doolin. I've been involved in a lot of different projects, and this one was a bit difficult, and just their expertise and their patience and their support means a whole lot, and I believe it's why it is the success that it is right now. So it's a really nice, beautiful pool when you come in and see it. Actually, on September 25th, Park Board meeting, we're gonna be just a bit early, not do a ribbon cutting, but we're just gonna do a tour up at 6:30. You all invited if anybody wants to come, or actually even before then, anytime you want to. Just, I'd be glad to show that thing off.
The picture you sent is beautiful.
Yes, it is. With the new tile and the plaster, it's outstanding. So anyway, that will happen on that 25th at 6:30 before our Park Board meeting. But I just want to thank you and Mayor and Council for your support on this as well.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 11.5, city staff updates, Public Works.
I'm gonna scoop Public Works time. Bill is out, so unless Harry has anything else he wants to share, or Dave has anything else they want to update city council on, I'm gonna scoop Public Works times just to share a piece of good news. Part of the McGuire Street project that we have been working on is trying to leverage our local dollars with state and federal dollars. I am very happy to share with you all that we applied for a MoDOT cost share application for the design and planning of the McGuire Street Bridge over Highway 50, as well as the Holden Street Bridge over Highway 50. And MoDOT has approved our cost share application. This is the first time that MoDOT has approved a planning and design application. Usually they are looking for shovel-ready projects. However, I think probably they had a little bit of money left over, but also wanting to work with us and show that partnership with us, that they are willing to help us with the planning and design. And then we will again apply for the construction phase of that, but at that point will be shovel ready, which helps us with our applications
when we are looking for those federal grants as well as those other cost share opportunities through MoDOT. So very excited about that. You all will have an agreement to consider before you. I haven't gotten that from MoDOT yet, but that will be, if it's not on the September 23rd agenda, it will certainly be on one of your October agendas, because we are very excited and looking forward to moving that project forward. And just, again, very excited that our working with MoDOT and our partnership with MoDOT, that they have does feel a little heavy, because it's the first time a municipality has been giving the opportunity to do a cost share application for planning and design. So certainly want to make sure that we do a good job, so that we kind of pave that road for other municipalities as well. So anyways, I did want to share that piece of good news with you.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
And we only have you for one more meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
We
Thanks.
have a closed session tonight.
Yes, we do. 12.1, closed session, motion to close part of this meeting pursuant to section 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri relating to 1, legal actions, causes of action or litigation involving a public governmental body and or confidential or privileged communications between a public governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys, and 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a public governmental body when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded.
You need a motion to go into close. I so move.
Kushner,
No longer with
I
us.
think he's left.
Yeah.
No. Is he there? No.
Nope.
Eddie's there.
No vote. Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
Glad you're feeling
You're
better.
welcome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, wherever you are, Eddie.
Yes, right here. Now, will I be able to sign into the
Did
closed
you,
meeting?
sorry, did you want to sign now? There.
Eddie's asking.
Will I be going to the closed meeting?
He's gonna be able to get in the closed session.
I don't know.
If everybody leaves, can we do it in here?
Good.
Yeah, that would.
If we can do it in here,
We can't.
if everybody leaves.
If they all leave, we
I mean, if we give him,
think we're better.
We would have to start.
we give him 3 minutes to
Zoom
leave.
thing because.
Somebody else could be on the Zoom.
Oh, that's right, exactly.
We'd have to start a new Zoom session.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a quorum? Yes. There's only 3 of us.
Yeah, lovely.
So what kind of hours do you have?
Pardon me?
What kind of sickness?
It was a bore. I'm getting over it.